This video is a little late, but we're going to jump straight into this and show you Council Leader Clifford Morris's reaction to the petition calling for his resignation that was handed to the Mayor at the full council meeting in February. Natalie Yates, who has played a large part in contacting the press and research over quite a few key issues regarding Bolton Council, was chosen to hand the petition over to the Mayor.
Madam Mayor, there is a petition relating to the resignation of Councillor Morris. Madam Mayor, there is a petition relating to the resignation of Councillor Morris.
And here's Clifford Morris's reaction to that petition. A shrug of the shoulders that it means nothing to him, and then a defiant look directly into the camera. Untouchable. We know petitions are a token gesture for what we want to happen as the public, but they form an important part of reflecting the public's opinion on serious subjects and should be treated with respect, not contempt. In general, the meeting was painful to sit through, having to watch Clifford Morris read 30 words for every A4 page. It made us wonder how bad his eyesight must be, or it could be something else, which we won't get into because that would be cruel. So the meeting was as you expected, Labour talking about how they all fully stood behind Councillor Morris as leader and fully backed him.
The leader of the Labour group got the full support of this group because he, like us, believes that this site promotes and encourages business into our town centre and will continue to do so. The support of the leader from this group was unconditional. And can I remind you that when the leader decides to go, he will make it his decision, and he will then go through the proper processes of the Labour group and the Labour whip.
The Arsons issue fading slowly away as they talked about the budget. Before we explain the next part, we're going to tell you something you don't know about Bolton Council and its councillors. Before the Arsons scandal, most, if not all, of the councillors got on reasonably well with each other regardless of their political party. However, since November, the opposition of Conservative, Liberal Democrats and UKIP have been working together to hold Bolton Labour Council responsible over the Arsons scandal. It was such a serious issue that it required the opposition to work together against Bolton Labour Council, and the public appreciated this joint effort as they tried to find answers on our behalf. But some of these people have known each other for over 20 years as councillors, and obviously the idea behind being a councillor is to make Bolton a better place, which the Arsons scandal is not doing. But at the same time, we deserve answers. We've been expecting an opposition councillor who's been silent within the opposition to try and move on from the Arsons scandal so things can go back for them how it was before Arsons. Back to an easy life where they can get their paycheck and nobody cares about politics. We expected an opposition councillor with the following rough background to raise their head. At least 10 to 20 years as a councillor, possibly form a role as a mayor, which would have allowed them to get close to all parties, that they never spoke against the Arsons scandal or raised their opinion on this serious issue, and of course that they be an opposition councillor. And in our opinion, the first one to tick all these boxes is a Liberal Democrat councillor named Carol Swarbrick, who we've never heard of and never known her to have any involvement in asking any questions over Arsons, despite having the opportunity to investigate the Arsons scandal and raise her concerns at full council meetings. She did what we expected from a councillor who's become too close to Labour over those 20 years. She went down the path of singing the praises of Bolton Council and Labour, which to us translates as, let's all be friends again and get back to business like it used to be. Business being cash a paycheck and nobody cares what we actually do in these chambers.
And I would like to think more able to engage in more mature debate, rather than the here today, gone tomorrow, often negative opposition party politics. So I want to say this evening to the officers, to the Chief Executive and to the Labour group, congratulations and well done for bringing these to fruition. The budget proposed by Councillor Hayes troubles me. Not least because I don't know how much of that budget has been influenced by meetings Councillor Hayes has had with UKIP. Oh yes. And actually, I hope, yes, you have had meetings, I hope that those so-called Liberal Democrats up in the gallery put that on social media.
Councillor Swarbrick, who is a Liberal Democrat, believe it or not, claims that the opposition all worked together on a budget proposals, which turns out to be complete nonsense because all the opposition voted against each other's budget proposals. In our opinion, what she's really complaining about is that the opposition parties came together to work on the Ayrton scandal and scrutinise her beloved Labour Party. She is not a Liberal Democrat. She's a paycheck collecting, give me an easy life, leave Bolton Council alone dinosaur of the past. And I'm sorry, but those days are over. Bolton Council and councillors are going to be held accountable.
By the way, those aspiring Lib Dem spin doctors, they do not practice the caring school of medicine, but rather that of Harold Shipman, devious and dangerous. So therefore, on balance, and just on the budget alone, I am going to support the Labour proposals this evening because I think...
We've been accused of having a Liberal Democrat bias, but I can assure you we will call out the behaviour of any councillor who puts themselves first instead of putting Bolton first. In our opinion, Councillor Swarbrick and her rant was about her own selfish, vested interest. She has done nothing to hold the council accountable over Ayrton's. She is a councillor who has failed in her duties and failed the people of Bolton. As a councillor, the goal is to make Bolton a better place for all of us. The majority of the time will be spent working with councillors from other parties, but there comes a time when councillors have to hold each other accountable for their actions, and Councillor Swarbrick has refused to do this. Well, on that cheery note, our next video will focus on the use of the emergency powers procedure, what it really means and how often it has been used in comparison to other councils. By the way, if Labour think we've been a bit cruel with this video, you should be very thankful for what we've left out.